fake fruit. Fake. Fake grapefruits. Fake. Liar! You liar!
Well, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is Sunday Night Live, and we have our hands full. Welcome back, one and all. Guess what? This is your show. We've got, we've got YouTube, of course, the zoo, and we've got the preparedmind.club and subscribestar.com. And for those on the club at the preparedmind.club and on subscribestar.com, a special thanks because you are carrying the load of supporting all this fine spam and tuna fish on the shelves back here, fully prepared in the Prepared Mind AI bunker. And thank you to Mr. T for all the great promos, pictures, supporting documents. Thank you to Jolene for always being behind the scenes doing our great promos, sales, prepper items at the preparedmind.club. And of course, thank you to Mr. Ooh Man, who is out there making sure everyone is in line. And I never want you to forget, Ooh Man has the big blue round. The host has unmuted the mic. What the fuck is going on? Do we have audio? Mr. Ooman, do we have audio? I don't hear audio from you. Ooh, thank you, PCP.
Okay, how about now?
I don't hear audio from you.
I can hear you, but I didn't hear anything on the YouTube side. So
how about now? I don't hear audio from you.
I can hear you, but I didn't hear anything on the YouTube side. So shit. Okay. I don't know. This is weird.
Let's see. Unmute. How's that? Now on the YouTube. Check the YouTube.
Okay, hold on. Let me turn the volume back up on the YouTube side.
Okay. How's that? It's working now, right? Now on the YouTube. Check. I don't.
Okay,
I tell you what. Someone was in there, and it wasn't me turning shit off. It wasn't you, and it wasn't Jolene. Someone got in there somehow and turned that shit off.
Oh, that was weird.
Thank you, Jolene. She says back on now. Let's get to it. We got a lot to talk about today. But
right.
I'll tell you what, we have a lot to talk about today. But it is your show. It is the zoo, and we're off to one hell of a start as usual. Okay, we got the correct microphone on. Good golly. You know, I come in a few minutes early. I do all the studio checks. Everything is checking out great. I hit the live button and stuff goes on to Fritz. Yeah, it couldn't be YouTube. No, it couldn't be them. Not a chance of that, right? Yeah, fat chance. Anyways, let's get started. I want to start with this. Donald Trump says 2024 is our final battle. We will finish the job once and for all. Well, I'll tell you what. 2024 is not the final battle, but it's the final battle for the Republic. And only if we lose the battle is it the final battle. If we win the battle, we got more fights ahead of us because we will be attacked viciously. And it's interesting he brought this point up or made this statement because just a few days ago, I made a similar statement saying 2024 is our last election. It's not our final battle, but it'll be our last election. It'll either be Trump wins and we have chaos, or we have, well, whoever the Democrat's going to be. And that will be the end of the republic, because there will never, ever, ever be another fair election. Ever. But Donald Trump is right. I think he's just letting us know, folks, we're finished as the United States of America. The salad days are now over. We are going back, I think, past the Civil War as far as destruction and what this nation stands for. And we've got to take it all the way back past the Battle of 1812, which was telling those who claimed to be our masters that you can't just take control because you're sneaky. And we're going to have to go all the way back to 1776, fight on our own soil, get rid of all of the parasites, get rid of all of the non-Americans, get rid of all of the, that's right, bad government players, bad corporate players, bad bankers, and start again. I see a huge battle in front of us. And the more I see, the more I learn, the more I hear, the more I'm concerned that the world is going to be in for the Great Reset. Now, what the Great Reset is, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Anyways, it's your show. If you want to talk about something, we've got the super chat button right up there. You click that, or Venmo, CashApp, and PayPal down below if you want to do that. Get your question in. I'll make you famous. We'll put you right here on the screen. Now, I'll tell you what. We're going to start out with none other than our good friend of the channel, Chin Music, who has a 5308. That's right, folks. He's got $50 plus a 308. And when you do a super chat donation bigger than $50, guess what? You do an 18-year scotch. And I'll tell you what, this bottle's getting a little thin down at the bottom. And I told you guys a couple of days ago, I'm going to the Glenfiddich 18 next. You guys have taken good care of me and made sure that I've been well medicated. But yes, that's a new bottle of 18. We're sticking with the 18, folks. And I've got to tell you, yeah, as soon as we're done with that Glenlivet, oh, mama, we're on to that. But here's the important thing. Something important anyway, I think, with respect to not only scotch, but inflation. That bottle is now $30 more expensive than it was just a few months ago. Chin Music, here's to you, brother. Semper Fi. Ooh. Thank you for the great support. And this is what he says. He says, hey, man, hope you have a good Thanksgiving. Holidays just don't seem the same anymore. In my opinion, the next president needs to bring charges of treason against Garlic Marin and Alejandro Beta Male Tiny Shoulders Mayorkas. The case against Garlic would take some work to make, but I could prove Mayorkas guilty with video and evidence and testimony of witnesses from my friend's ranch near the border. We also have tons of video of the open border. This has to be a promise from every candidate asking me for money in 24. And yes, I already told Brother Chip, who is congressional member Chip. This is the most blatant middle finger ever given to the American taxpayer. What he's talking about is the open border, the fact that illegals from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, San Salvador, Panama. Did I skip anyone north of Panama? I sure hope not. As well as other parts of the world, Africa, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, just coming here up through Mexico and screwing us all over. It is an incredible blatant middle finger to the American people. It's just a big giant fuck you is what it is. Right to our faces. Oh, the border's secure. No, it's not. You're a liar. You should be impeached and thrown in jail. I call it treason. Same with Joe Biden. As far as Merrick Garland goes, what's amazing, folks, is Chin Music says he, a normal American, hardworking, tax-paying, law-abiding American has evidence to prove that Mayorkas is a liar, and that with all the people running across, it sure looks like treason to him. And I'll tell you what, there are plenty of people with all kinds of evidence about all kinds of government crimes, and they're being suppressed. Whistleblowers, investigators having their work taken from them and trashed. I hear about it all the time. Well, we've got some stuff coming out. I've got some interesting stuff, but it is your show. And thank you, Chin Music. But it is your show. So you get to pick the topics, and I'll fill in some of the blanks. But we have a lot to go over, folks. I sure hope you've got food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense. Can you imagine in your town, like Chin Music has to deal with? Can you imagine thousands of people running through fields, jumping fences, gathering around the illegal immigration check-in centers where they're handed credit cards or EBT cards or just plain old envelopes full of cash? Can you imagine that feeling? Knowing every penny you pay is just being squandered while your town is being trashed. Folks, you have a Walmart, TJ Maxx, whatever store you have, Target, and it's just being ransacked by these illegals who show up, and they just clear the fucking shelves. And I'll tell you what, when they tried this shit under Obama, I remember it. As far as extreme Northern California, there were illegals who would show up. And I heard this in Reno too. They'd show up and fill shopping carts full of goods, go out and pack them into their shithole vans, minivans and pickups, load them up, strap them down, and take them back to Mexico. They were using your money to screw you over, and it pisses me off to no fucking end. And Congressman Chip better not just only wake the fuck up and fight hard. He better fight to win. And yes, F-bombs are part of the show. Yes, being tough is one of the things I want you to become. You better be thick-skinned. You better be hardcore, because we're rolling into it in 2024. Our fight is not just with illegals coming across the Mexican border. It's going to be with pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist types here in this country who are not here to be your friend. They're not here because they love America. It's quite the opposite. But before we get to there, I want to stop and get really wound up because Darcy T is checking in. And she says, "Good evening, John." No questions or comments, just some support with a $50 super chat donation. Thank you, Darcy T. So, in your honor, and because you did, we're going to get one more shot as we get going on this show. Get me all lubricated up. Take a big old tug off of that. Getting closer. Getting closer. I'll tell you what, you better have plenty of drink. Not just because you're an alcoholic, but because, well, I recommend vodka. Big bottles of vodka. You can get cheap vodka. Let's see. Works as mouthwash, disinfectant, foot wash, pickling agent, and a number of other real medical and food uses. Vodka, as well as making friends with people. Cheers, Darcy. Thank you for this 18-year scotch. And I've got a question, comment, statement to put out in her place. And I think this matters really big. Seriously. Let's see. Let's get down to it. You're going to love this. There's so much that went on this week. I saved everything too. Everything. Where the hell is it? Oh, man, I tell you what. That's it. I'm going right to the top. Pro-Hamas protesters. That means people who love terrorism. They tried to take over the Fox News headquarters in New York City, folks. They're not stopping, are they? They're not going away. They're not quitting. They're not quitting. They're not going to give up. They're not going to go away the way we need them to. What do you think they're going to do? Are they going to start taking over businesses as well as media? Are they going to start taking over homes as well as government buildings? Are they going to follow bureaucrats, mayors, elected officials, regular people to their homes that they don't like? If anyone scowls at them, are they going to start doing that? Well, these idiots at the Fox headquarters, they look like a bunch of white privileged morons. Now, there may be some real Palestinians in there or not, but the ones I saw look like white privileged morons. And guess what? They're asking for their own deaths. They think they're supporting Hamas. Oh, yeah, they're anti-Zionism. They're anti-Israel. They're anti-this. They're anti-America. It's unbelievable who these people are. They are not here, folks, to be your friends. They're here to take over the government, take over the news, intimidate you, kill you, etc. Now, the real Palestinians that are here, the real third world trash, they're used to living like third world trash, and they look around America and they're like, holy cow, they've all got electricity. The roads are paved. There's no bomb craters in them. There's just a few police out there. These people are prime targets for terror. What do you think is going through their mind? What do you think is going through their mind? Here's the story I wanted to tell you about these pro-Palestinians. Let me tell you about real Palestinians. Okay, this poll was taken, and it is a giant fuck you to you and me and all of America. In this poll, folks, people who consider themselves innocent Palestinians, not Hamas, 75% of them approve of Hamas's October 7th slaughter. 75% approve. Hey, that's great. That's well, only 25% disapprove. So 3 out of 4 Palestinians who are not terrorists are just fine with what happened. And get this number, 98% of innocent Palestinians hate the United States of America. So while 25% do not approve of the bloodbath, the murder, mass murder, the mass terror, while 25% don't like that, 98% hate the United States of America. And guess what? 98% of Americans don't know where Palestine is on a map. Thanks for being honest, Palestinians. Thank you for hating the United States. Thank you for letting us know exactly what you think. Folks, any of these people out here, according to these numbers of real Palestinians, 3 out of 4 of Palestinians in this country probably think it was just fine what happened. And 98% of Palestinians and their supporters here in America probably hate this country. Think about it. They're not here to help us. They're here to destroy us. Don't kid yourself. Don't delude yourself. We are in big trouble. Like it or not, know it or not, it is coming. Do you have a 5308? Do you have an AR-15? Do you have a Glock? Do you have a Colt? Do you have a Smith & Wesson? Do you have a Ruger? Do you have an AK? Let me know. Well, no, don't let me know. Let me know psychically. Let people in your family know to get prepared. See, that's what I want to let you know is getting prepared is everything. Don't let me know what you have and which one you have and how much you have. Don't do it. But understand, you just need to do it. I wish I could say it. I mean, I want to ask, please let me know that you're good. Let me know that you're prepared. Right? Let me know, because these people will shut us down quick as shit. Remember 2020 when BLM and Antifa shut down freeways, they shut down roads, they shut down cities? Remember that shit? Remember it? Well, I don't know what that meant. Okay. Anti-Israel protesters, in other words, pro-Hamas terrorists, pro-Palestinian protesters. These anti-Israeli protesters shut down the Bay Bridge. And guess what that did? Okay. They shut down the Bay Bridge. Thank you out there. Now, they shut down the Bay Bridge. Well, so what? They just shut a bridge down for a little while. Guess what? These anti-Israel and also anti-American pro-Palestine protesters shut down the Bay Bridge. And guess what that stopped? That stopped organ donations from being delivered. That's right. They took over the Bay Bridge in California. Took it over right there by Treasure Island. What an appropriate name. They shut down the Bay Bridge. Some protesters threw their keys over the side so their cars couldn't get by. And people likely died. People waiting for organs and transplant surgeries. People are affected by these scumbags. And they are, folks. As much as I railed against BLM and Antifa, these people care even less. Now, I think that BLM and Antifa want to take America for themselves. They want to turn it into a glorious communist utopia. These fuckers from Palestine and every other shithole country, guess what they want to do to your country? They want to turn it into their old country. They didn't come here for a good life. They came here to take us down. Fucking get used to it. I've been telling you for years and years, please get prepared because of what they're going to do. And it's being discussed again behind the scenes. So I don't know if this is coming out because it is predictive programming or because people just thought it's a good idea to start discussing it again. But the concept of an electricity blackout is coming back. I think especially with these Palestinian scumbags who can take out power substations. And if they can't cause an entire regional blackout, they can certainly cause local blackouts in local power grids, big chunks and portions of cities and counties by taking out substations. Just like they take out a bridge and they affect the entire, folks, East Bay and the San Francisco Peninsula, they'll affect everything they can. Now, these fuckers on the bridge, whether it's in New York or the Bay Area, California, they need to be filmed. They need to be unmasked. They need to be doxxed, have their names sent to the police so they can be charged with crimes. It's not just impeding traffic, which is a minor violation. It is impeding commerce. It is impeding life-saving equipment. It is a threat and a danger. I mean, understand, you're not allowed to block a road because it is a fire lane. When a fire truck comes, you've got to get out of their way. When an ambulance comes, you get out of their way. When a police comes, you pull the fuck over and give them room because it's an emergency and people's lives depend on it. These people on the bridge are risking other people's lives. Why? Because they support terrorism. Now, we used to talk about this stupid shit going on in other countries. It's now right here at home. Homegrown domestic terrorism in our streets, folks, on our bridges, in our tunnels, at our government buildings, at our media buildings. What did they do? They went and they tried shutting down, was it Boeing? I think it was Boeing a week ago. They want to shut everyone down they can. And then they want to promote this. Are you ready for this? They want war openly started with us, the American people. How do they do that? They make it about, well, jihad, their religion, their race. In the state of Ohio, A Muslim man committed a fake hate crime. That's right, folks. He claimed he was injured by a driver, right, who screamed, "Kill all Palestinians." That was the quote. That's what he did. He yelled, "Kill all Palestinians," and he hit me with his car. He faked it, folks. At least this bastard's been arrested for it. But that's what they're trying to do. This is a lesson from Jesse Smollett and Bubba Wallace. Lesson learned or not learned that you're not going to get away with it every single time. But the lesson is out there for these people. How hard would it be for one of them to run another one over and hit them and have it be filmed? They could take the license plate off and do a great job of showing a hate crime against Muslims. Folks, this jackass should be deported for attempting to start a race war and a holy war in this country. It has just begun. Are you prepared? Now, the show is off to a huge start. Please hit that address up there, internet address at the top of the screen, and share it with other people. Get the word out. It is time to wake up. It is time to prep. It is time to be Americans. And I've got a lot more examples of just those things happening, and give yourself credit for participating. Now, also hit the thumbs up button while we're here. It is time to get this show going. Oh, it's coming, folks. No, I mean, the show out there, the SHTF on the streets, it's coming. If you're not prepared, they don't care. In fact, they like it more. If you're pretending to love all of these idiots from other countries, if you're pretending to think that the LGBTQIA people are just fine with you, you want to keep pretending that you can be friends with these fucking people when they want to destroy the country and you're part of the country, they're taking you out. That's the world we're in. Are you prepared? Share this video. We've got a lot more coming, folks. Basically, my job is to sit here and tell you you've done a great job. What job am I talking about? Well, we're playing Paul Revere, every last one of us. That's our job. That's our job. It's time. It is time. Now, we shut down the entire country. We shut down the entire planet over COVID-19. They locked everyone down. They told everyone, put on masks. They said, you are non-essential, stay home. And they said to a few people, you're essential, get to work, but wear your masks. Check in. Make sure you get your temperature taken. Have someone put their finger up your nose or something else or somewhere else. And they'll check in, make sure you're good. They shut the whole fucking planet down, folks, because they didn't know what they were doing. Because, well, they were just doing the best they could with the information they had. Don't ever fucking do it again. But get this. In the border town of Eagle Pass, Texas, there is chaos that is just now breaking loose. Illegal aliens are flooding over the border, and guess what they have with them? They have children who are sick, children who are ill. Hey, John, what's wrong with them? I don't know. They're sick. We don't know what they have because they're not checking them. They're invading this country with illness, sickness, disease. But you and I, as Americans, with all of our inoculations that we had from when we were a kid, all of our good immune systems, our healthy diets and bodies, we were told we couldn't combat cerveza bug, the common cold. We were told to lock ourselves down, but we can let these fucking people in now. And guess what the government's probably going to do? They'll probably just send them to school with American children because, you know, it's all about the kids. Right, Mayorkas? Right? Director of the Homeland Security, right? The Department of Homeland Security, the director, the leader, the whatever the hell he is. Mayorkas. Just send them to schools because, you know, it's about the children. Right, Karine Jean-Pierre, you moron. Right, Biden, El Presidente of all of these people. Right, AOC, because you care about the children that weren't in the cages that you didn't go see. And now that Joe is president and all the kids who are in cages you couldn't go see, won't go see, can't see, refuse to see. And what about you, Nancy Pants? That's right, folks. Nancy Pants Pelosi. What are these people doing? Well, they want you locked down. Remember when Nancy locked everyone down? She thought it was great. Then she went out to her hairdresser to get her fucking hair done. She broke the rules. And the hairdresser recorded that bitch and then released it to the public. And what happened? The media, the government, everyone turned on the lady who exposed corruption. And Pelosi didn't even get in trouble. Well, she was the Speaker of the House. Folks, they're fucking hypocrites. They're liars, and they're bringing sick children into the country. I'm telling you, you think it's okay? It ain't. Now, let's do this. Jolene, we got a super chat donation. Somebody's got something to say. Let's hear it. And share that internet address. Who is up next? We have, drum roll, please, Nancy Keg with a $10 super chat donation. And she says, have a happy Thanksgiving this week. It may be one of our last ones. Thanks, John, for all you do. And Semper Fi, thank you, Nancy Keg. I tell you what, Thanksgiving is always going to be a tradition for Americans. I think even in the hardest of times, we'll try and celebrate it the same way we celebrate the birth of Christ. Christmas, Christ Mass. I think we're always going to do that. I mean, if you remember, folks, before Donald Trump, that pile of shit, Barack Hussein, Barry Soetoro Obama, and he is a sack of shit, took away Christmas. Called it what, a winter festival or the winter holidays. Season's greetings. Seasoning is what I put on my food. It's not season's greetings. It's Christmas. And Donald Trump brought Christmas back to the White House. For that alone, it makes him a better fucking candidate than any of these other people. I'm telling you, folks, you better toughen up. And you need to keep doing what you're doing because you're doing a great job. You are. You truly are. Nancy Keg, thank you very much. Yes, enjoy this Thanksgiving. But they're not going to be the same anymore. It used to be we worked really hard. It's been a long year. We made it through the spring, the summer, and into the fall. And it's the home stretch towards Christmas. We've got our Halloween. We've got our Thanksgiving where we bring the family together. And you make fun of any of the Democrats at your table because they're idiots. And you all have a feast to celebrate freedom, liberty, and the blessings that America has bestowed upon it by our Creator. And through our hard work. And through limited government and low taxation. But now we're fucked because of Joe Biden and the Democrats and what they're doing along with the banks, mega corporations, and World Economic Forum who want to destroy this country. That's who is to blame, folks. And these people that are coming across the border are nothing more than foot soldiers of death, doom, and destruction. So yeah, our Thanksgiving will be different. Imagine sitting at the table. Granddad gets up to carve the turkey. And you get a knock on the door. And you go open the door. And it's someone who is a pro-Palestinian supporter who demands that you give them some food because they're hungry. Otherwise, they're going to pick it outside your house and steal your shit. I mean, this type of stuff. This type of crap is going to happen, folks. Truly. Truly. Man, I tell you. And if it's not, all right, if it's not them, it's going to be the government showing you just how inept and stupid they are. How inept and stupid they are. I mean, get this. Are you ready for this? We're right at 300 people live. Share that internet address. Get it out there. We just topped 300 and going up. Share that internet address. Hit the thumbs up. We've got a lot to talk about right now. Yes, indeed. And then let's see. Ring-a-ding-ding. We're doing good. I'm telling you. Get this. When I say the government hates you, they lie to you, I'm not exaggerating. It's not hyperbole. I'm not just trying to get your blood going, right? The Pentagon under the Biden administration is buying Russian fuel oil for the military. They're kind of going around war sanctions that have been placed on Russia. That it's supposed to take money from Russia, take money out of Russia's banks. Stop giving money to Russia. Well, the fucking Pentagon is giving money right to Russia. It's a huge WTF. Biden and Lloyd the Loser Austin, Secretary of Defense, are supporting the enemy, Russia, making Putin more powerful, more wealthy in Russia. Folks, they accuse Trump of being a Russian asset, a Russian puppet. A Putin supporter, right? Who is supporting Russia more and more? Biden and Austin, Lloyd Austin, they are the Russian assets. They are the sellouts. Did Biden get his 10%? Has he had a 10% kickback coming from Russia? How would we know? Everything and every time they say Biden has been exposed, that information just seems to go away right off the news. Right off the news. Biden, $10 million. Biden, $30 million. Bag full of frickin' cocaine in the White House. Well, we seem to have lost it. Couldn't be Hunter. Folks, a bag of cocaine. Not a bag of Junior Mints. A bag of cocaine. Distribution quantity. I mean, the government is completely inept. I mean, look at what they're doing. A January 6th defendant is being attacked and prosecuted by the Department of Justice still. Now, Victoria White's her name. They want her to go to jail for 90 days. But on film, folks, they have footage of her being smashed in the face 35 times by cops with fists and sticks, and they nearly killed her on January 6th. And they still want to give her another 90 days. Remember, folks, those cops are American cops. Remember, folks, those were Americans. American cops, Americans beating an American woman in the face, smashing her face to pieces with fists and nightclubs, and they nearly killed her. Thanks, cops in Washington, D.C. You are just great Americans, right? Well, you're great Americans to Nancy and Hillary Clinton and Obama and Biden. This is who we have in the government, folks. Now, I do have some good news, and I wanted to share it with you. I wanted to congratulate you, folks. I want to congratulate you. You've done a great job. You truly have. You've done a great job. What am I talking about? The January 6th tapes are being released. Not all of them at once, but they're being released. I have a funny feeling some of the most awful of them are going to be withheld. And I know that media studios will be asking, like Zero Hedge, like Gateway Pundit, like all of the alternate, they're going to be asking for specific cameras at specific times. But they are releasing the footage. And the footage is showing the government doing some awful things and doing some very nice things. Now, in light of the holidays, I want to tell you about the January 6th footage that shows protesters peacefully entering the Capitol. And folks, I saw this footage the day after, or 2 days or 3 days after it happened, because it was released for a while and then it just disappeared. These protesters were being allowed in. They were peacefully entering. They were peacefully leaving. They were making police smile. They were talking with policemen. This video is now out there. How can they be committing insurrection with policemen smiling and posing with them and hanging out? And I want to thank you, because you made this happen. You wrote, you texted, you called Washington, your congressman, your senator, and you said, hey, and I hope you also called MAGA Mike Johnson, the new Speaker of the House. You took action, folks. Prepared Mind and all other patriotic people told him, release the footage. It's coming out now. It's showing how inept the government is, how much they lie, how the government attacked the protesters, and how the people that weren't attacked, when the cops backed off and stopped beating the fuck out of them, they went into the Capitol. Not as insurrectionists, but as citizens, peacefully walking about. Unbelievable what they're doing in this country right now. What they're doing to you and me, folks. I'm going to step away from that topic. Remember, this is your show. You've got the super chat button right up there. You can participate. You can make this channel happen. I really want to thank everyone who is supporting the channel behind the scenes. People who say, don't use my name, don't mention a thing. Thank you guys as well. Now, we've got fights on every front. It is not just about these Hamas scumbags, and I do have lots more stories on them, but I want to switch gears a little bit. We had, Susanna Gibson in Virginia, the porn star. What does she call herself? Fantasy housewife or some shit like that, right? Real Housewife Experience, right? That was her, right? She was a porn queen, got exposed, tried suing people for releasing information about her that's public. Ridiculous. Well, guess what? All the way on the other coast now, go all the way to the state of Oregon, and a Democrat congressional candidate there has been outed as a dominatrix who charges her clients $500 an hour. These fucking people, I can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. They're letting illegals and terrorists in the border while they're busy online and in hotel rooms making money for sex. Wow, she exploits herself, folks, for cash. Now, I have another question. Is she a human trafficker? I bet she traffics other women and maybe even underage people too, right? Where is the LGB FBI? Are they arresting her yet? She should be arrested. She should be investigated. This is incredible. She's a Democrat congressional candidate, and she's a fucking dominatrix. They even got a picture of her, 41-year-old Courtney Castro. That's right. Yep, there's a picture of her right there. And they got a little caution symbol over her fanny. Courtney Castro, Casgraux, Democrat, dominatrix hoe, running for Congress. Look, if you're going to be a dominatrix, fine. If you're going to be a hooker, fine. You're going to be part of the government. You're going to pretend to be all mightier than thou and holier than thou and pious. Bunch of Democrat scumbags taking everyone's money and giving it to worthless people and then claim that you're selfish for not liking it. Yep. She worked at a BDSM dungeon in Midtown Manhattan. How about that? And she's now panicked because the videos of her working at this dungeon have been released. How about that? New York Post. Yep. She told the New York Post, old Courtney Casgrow, that she began hyperventilating and crying after she was doxxed as a dominatrix. You're a fucking prostitute. Come on. What do you want? What do you want to be a big shot in politics? Whoops. I mean, how many guys' balls did she have to stomp? How many people did she have to whip, right, for those $500? I'm sure, right? Unbelievable. Right? Now get this. This is amazing. She's now exploiting herself further, folks. These are the Democrats. She's using the exposure of her as a dominatrix to reclaim her sexuality. Isn't that amazing, folks? Instead of being embarrassed for trying to run for moral, because to run for public office, you're supposed to be a moral, decent person. That's why I can never run. I'm a Marine, and Marines are definitely not moral, right? Because we're supposed to be the bad guys. According to the Democrats, you're a bunch of baby killers. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, she told the Post she's using this to reclaim her sexuality because she's creating a Playboy profile. And she's selling pictures of herself for $150 a pop. How about that? Courtney Ellen Casgrow, Oregon Democrat congressional candidate. Yeah, her future in politics is kaput. But don't worry, she's a sex worker. But sex trafficking is bad, but being a sex worker is good. Interesting. She's part of the Portland western suburbs. And yeah, I'm sure she was horrified. Yeah, she was asking questions like, quote, who did this? And right, she says, get this, I just started calling every single person that I pretty much knew from my past. I was like hyperventilating and crying. Yeah. Wow. I mean, she doesn't do it anymore, she says. But that's how she made her fortune, $500 an hour, one whipping at a time. And now Susanna Gibson is upset because, well, she was only making internet tokens. She lost her race. These are the Democrats, folks. They are the people who want to run this country. Right? Now, what's interesting is prostitution, right, is the oldest profession. I guess the second oldest profession is selling out your country for money. Yeah, you sell out your and then you sell out your country. Wow. I really wonder, is she going to be investigated for criminal offenses? Is she going to be interviewed to find out where this place is and who the other people are that work there? And were they being sexually trafficked? Unbelievable, folks. Now, speaking of sellouts, sellout Sean Hannity. On his show, he had none other than the man with fuck you money, Kid Rock. And he decided to go on and do an interview with Sean Hannity. And apparently at the UFC fight, he had some things to say to Anheuser-Busch's CEO. You know, he just basically let it out. But I think that the Kid Rock is playing nice. I'm sure he's playing nice. During the interview, Kid Rock said this regarding LGBTQ plus type people. He said, that's right. Let me say this to the trans and gay community right now. Be yourself. You're cool with me, I'm cool with you. That's what most people are. But as soon as you bring our kids into this, that's where you're going to bring hatred into it. Leave our freaking kids out of it. That's the bottom line. Well, that's what he's talking about, folks, is I think Kid Rock actually has grandkids now. He has grandkids now. Kids and grandkids. Most people are cool, but as soon as you bring our kids into this, that's where you're going to bring hatred into it. Hatred. That's one word that is far deeper than a rock star with FU money is sounding hip. The word hatred is not hip, right? But he said it. That's where you're going to bring hatred into it. What is it? Our world, their world. Here's the breakdown on what he said, folks. Being gay and trans is not cool. And straights don't want it around them and their kids, but they respect freedom, so they allow it. He basically said that when he said, you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. Right? I don't really want it around me, but we're all free, so let's just allow it. But let's look further into this. When he says, well, as soon as you bring our kids into this, right, that's where you're going to bring hatred into it. Basically, what he's saying is, it's not cool. No, it's not. So when the fruit salad tossers want to introduce their totally fucked up, perverted lifestyle to children, the fruitcakes, right, are going to get hatred, and that's what they deserve. Hatred for destroying innocence, hatred for destroying lives, hatred for destroying the minds of children. He's basically saying, wacko, crazy, perverted fucks, it's over, no more. Think about what he said, right? I personally see right through Kid Rock's very carefully crafted message. It's a message many Americans share silently because we have to respect them and let them be. It's their right to be whatever the hell they want, right? But another way of putting it is, you are tolerated, but not welcome. So get back in the closet and stop trying to perversely corrupt the minds of the people and children by pretending LGBTQ plus is normal. It is not. It is a mental disorder, period. Man wants to jump in. He says, I refuse to acknowledge it as anything more than the LGBS community. Well, that's what it is. It is a bunch of BS, right? And I'm glad Kid Rock went on Sean Hannity's show, even though Sean Hannity is a sellout. He refuses to acknowledge all of the miracles of 9/11. Totally. Not to mention numerous other government inconsistencies. He's a sellout. All right, Mr. Uman, let's do this. Let's do some super chat donations. Let's see what you guys want to talk about. And it is Chin Music with a $9.99 super chat donation. He says, haven't seen it myself, but evidently there is January 6th footage, government footage, just released that directly contradicts sworn testimony by one of the Capitol Hill police puppets. 4 of them, Chin Music, 4 of them went to Congress and testified. And at least one of them lied. Oh, you got it, brother. At least one. I think all 4. These were supposed to be Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police heroes, stalwart tellers of the truth, gave testimony in Congress to the January 6th committee. Bunch of lying sacks of shit. Wear your best uniform with your stripes and your little badges and your little shiny pieces of metal on your shoulders and your lapel. That doesn't work on me. I've seen plenty of people with lots of shiny metal on their uniforms and couldn't give a shit. What if I started wearing fucking bars and stars on my lapel? Would that make me a general or a commander or a capitan of the police? No, they're pieces of metal. It's a costume. It's designed to make people think they're important, and they're not. They're just lying sacks of shit. And they lied about the January 6th protesters. They've held hundreds and even thousands of people in jail without trial against the Constitution. If everyone remembers this, the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police told us, the people, and Congress, that they don't have to pay by the Constitution. No. They don't have to, because they're not, folks, in the United States of America. That's right, folks. Washington, D.C. is not part of the United States of America. It is the District of Columbia. And therefore, it is not bound by the Constitution. Even though it is created by the Constitution, it claims it's not bound by it. What a crock of shit. And there has been a lot of perjury that has gone on. And these January 6 films, tapes, video will prove it. And there is also a big call right now on Congress, Chin Music. Pay attention to what's going on there. There's a big call to bring these people in, all of the January 6 committee members, and start grilling the ever-loving shit out of them about what evidence they had and what they used and didn't use. But first, we need to get done with Biden and impeach his ass. Impeach him. It is time. Let MAGA Mike Johnson know we have the evidence, you have the evidence, enough shit. Get it out of this inquiry crap. We've inquired for what? Over 2.5 years we've inquired into Joe Biden. We know all about him. He's a dirtbag. He is a criminal. He has committed serious crimes, not to mention treasonous acts, in my opinion. Like the abandonment of Afghanistan, our military members who were killed there, American citizens who were abandoned there, our allies. Folks, abandoning your allies, I think, is actually a treasonous move. Let me tell you why. Because America relies on our allies as much as they rely on us. And by shitting on them, they will not come and help us when we need them. You just hurt us with respect to national security and readiness. National security readiness and cooperation with our allies. Abandoning our allies, folks, was not just, whatever the fuck, man. No, it was awful. Not to mention our allies as private citizens who are also in Afghanistan. Our border being open is criminal. It is criminal negligence. It is criminal dereliction of duty. And I'm sorry, Chin Music, you've got to see this firsthand, people coming across the border. It's unbelievable. It truly is. It makes me sick. It really makes me sick. What's going on? Folks, it is Sunday Night Live. Fuck, it is not Saturday. Unfortunately, everyone gets to go back to work tomorrow. It's going to be a short week. It's going to be a weird week because it's not going to feel like the normal Thanksgiving. I remember when I was a kid in school, we would cut out little brown paper-shaped turkeys, brown turkey-shaped paper shapes, put a little pilgrim hat on them, put some little eyeballs on it, make little Thanksgiving decorations, put on your windows in school. Where is that spirit now? Where's the spirit of Thanksgiving? We're too busy doing this, folks. We're too busy putting up with the bullshit going on in this country. Like this. There's a high school in Massachusetts, folks, cancels USA Day because the school administrators fear it will be too politicized. But it's okay to have drag queens and pink-haired teachers distributing books on gay, anal, adult-to-boy sex. And not to mention critical race theory for all the white guilt you can choke down. That's just fine. But don't you dare celebrate this fucking country. Unbelievable. It made me fucking sick, mad as fuck. Okay, Mr. Uman, let's do another super chat donation if we shall. We got Luke Thompson checking in with a $2 super chat donation. Thank you very much, Luke. You're here every week, and what you do and everyone else does matters. Participating in the conversation, sharing your ideas and thoughts, right? Supporting freedom and free speech, supporting America. Now, I come on here, and a lot of times I'll share my opinion. Other times I share other people's opinions that have been forwarded to me and say, argue this out. Talk about this topic. Right? This is entertainment. It is satire. But always, folks, the best jokes, the best satire, right? The most entertaining material has the truth throughout it. Take the ideas and roll with them. What do you believe in? Right? Shouldn't you be able to say what you want and do what you want without being afraid? Afraid of what other people think, afraid of what other people say. Well, it ain't that kind of world where you can just say something and walk away. Now someone's going to snap a picture of you. They want to hurt you, whatever. And I spent the entire weekend driving all over the South down into Florida. And, oh, by the way, yeah, let's see if I can get an aquatic adventures video out by next weekend. That'll be cool. Stand by for that. I had to go down into Florida over to the West Coast. Not the West Coast as in California, but the West Coast of Florida. Had a good time. Barely made it back as usual, but here we are. Thank you, Luke, very much for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. Mr. Uman, where do we go next? Who is up next? And it is Mr. Skylight with a $19.99 super chat donation. Thank you, Mr. Skylight. Your weekly support, the videos you send me, information behind the scenes, it keeps me going and it keeps me studying. And he's got a quote from a philosopher, from a writer named G.K. Chesterton. And here is the quote. The true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. The true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. So what I stand out in front of, folks, is the American flag, our country, our people. I'm standing right here, or sitting right here, rather, putting myself between America and these scumbags who need to be exposed. Whether they're foreign or domestic enemies, I'll point to all of them. Someone's got to do it. Someone should do it. It should be more than just me. And you guys are here with me. Thank you very much. Now understand this. Right? I didn't come out here and pick on all these people and make enemies out of no one. Right? I love America and what is behind me, what I'm protecting. And the only reason the enemy is coming straight at me is because they are the ones that hate. They hate what the country is about. They hate the people of the United States of America. I read the Palestinian thing. They hate the USA. 98% of them in Palestine hate us. So I stand between them. They hate America. Well, I love America. So I guess since they hate it, they make themselves the opposite. They make themselves the enemy. I didn't ask for them to be the enemy. I didn't ask them to come to our country. I certainly didn't ask them to try and destroy it. But I'm going to, when faced with their threats, provide them with an opportunity to leave one of two ways: on their feet or on their back. And I think a whole lot of Americans think the same damn way. And it's coming. It truly is. It's coming. And remember, these people, these terrorists, right? These terrorists that they bring their hate in here, you can see what cowards and chicken shits they are. And I'm going to give you a fine example. Thank you, Mr. Skylight, very much. Every dollar counts, folks. Stacking tuna fish and spam on the shelves. So get this, folks. Remember how we were told that Hamas isn't using hospitals? Well, some security camera footage has been released. Hospital security camera footage. And it shows, well, Hamas dragging hostages into the hospital. Dragging Israelis, other hostages through the hospital. So I guess they are using hostages. They have them, and they are using them as human shields. And they are using them in the hospitals as human shields while they fight and shoot from hospitals. I don't like any of these people over there, folks. Trust me, I don't like any of the crap that's going on. You know, us Americans, us Europeans, us whatever from wherever in the world, we're like, you know what? It's your fucking problem over there. You guys have hated each other for centuries. And now they're over in our countries, blaming us for what's happened in their countries. They haven't solved their own problem, so they're accusing everyone else. of creating their problems. Here we are, folks. 2023 going on 2024. We've got our last election up in front of us. Under this current republic, we're going through it right now. You see what is happening to this country. You see what is happening in the Middle East. Wait till you see what comes next. Do you have any ideas? We're going to be fighting battles right here, folks, in our country. And it's not just going to be in the streets, not those kind of battles. We're going to have every kind of battle. I mean, get this. You want some silliness? There was a show when I was younger, when I had kids, little kids, even when I was a young man. It was called Reading Rainbow. That's right. The guy who was the Reading Rainbow guy was LeVar Burton. And he went on a book awards ceremony. He was the speaker up there. And he asked this question: are there any moms for liberty in the house? Now, who are the moms for liberty? Well, they're moms who don't want perverted LGBTQ plus books in the hands of children, whether they're in high school or grade school or primary and kindergarten. That's what they want, is they want all of the perverted shit out of the schools. That's what the Moms for Liberty wants. So LeVar Burton, who did the Reading Rainbow, isn't that funny? The Reading Rainbow. Yeah, we know what his rainbow is now. He said, are there any Moms for Liberty in the house? No? Good. Then hands will not need to be thrown tonight. So this jackass LGBTQ guy who wants to put perverted sexual books in the hands of children is essentially suggested that there should be physical violence used against moms, conservative moms, right? This tough liberal douche has threatened mothers who are not present. They're not present. They're not there to defend themselves. They're not. This is who these people are, folks. This is what they want. They want violence. They want to threaten people. They want to push this crap in your face. What a tough guy to go after women. And the battle's going to go both ways, folks, back and forth. And I'm going to give you a couple of good news, feel-good stuff while I'm waiting for you guys. Pow! You want to talk about something? Super chat donation gets you on the screen, and you direct the show. You send the show in the direction you want. Good, bad, and different, domestic, around the world, whatever. But here's an interesting thing came up. In the state of California, they have diversity, equity, and inclusion, which means LGBTQIA and fruitcake into businesses, schools, government, banks, every institution. They need to be shoved in there. And their little rules that they want to play by. Well, a judge, folks, looking at California's DEI rules, has suspended the enforcement of it. And I think more schools need to get involved in this. Several schools, folks, decided to sue over this with an organization called FIRE. But it's an example of politicizing everything in our world, everything under the sun that the government touches. You bet, folks. The government uses force and fear of being fired or terminated to make people comply with these ridiculous, unethical, unconstitutional, insane rules. And folks, government is force. Government is violence. But the Constitution is supposed to stop government, and in this case, it did. At least in this case that came up, this lawsuit. And the following I'm going to read to you, folks, is an excerpt from the filing, and it was used to kick Gavin Newsom's anti-white, racist trash out the fucking door. Because they said this: faculty performance and tenure will be evaluated based on a professor's commitment to and promotion of the government's viewpoints. That's right, folks. The schools are government operations. And they said that they're going to decide whether or not they fire teachers based on their willingness and commitment to promoting what the government is shoving down everyone's throat. And that would be diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, Professor Bill Blanken had some statements that were part of the lawsuit, by the way. It says, I'm a professor of chemistry. How am I supposed to incorporate DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, into my classroom instruction? What's the anti-racist perspective on the atomic mass of boron? I think it's interesting that he chose boron because it rhymes with moron, which is what the government is, moronic, idiotic. Right? There is no anti-racist perspective on the atomic mass of boron. The only crap that works would be maybe in a sociology class, right? Science, there's no room for DEI in science, but they want there to be. Folks, government is bullshit, lies, and it is hidden behind a veil of gun-protected, disingenuous smiles and unicorn farts. That's who these people are, and they're not going away. But in this case, they lost. In other cases, they're going to win. Now understand this. There's a Navy SEAL out there who is fighting against radical gender ideology, critical race theory, Jim Jones juice tyranny. And guess what? He is now, because he's come out publicly to fight for kids, to fight for America, he is under investigation for alleged ties to an extremist group. Now, rather than cover all the details of that, I want to ask some questions. I want you to understand this. Right? I believe, wasn't it Barry Goldwater who said, liberty in the defense extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice. That's interesting. I started thinking about extremism. When the Washington, D.C. government wants extremists to do their bidding, their dirty work, to kill, assassinate, destroy, when the government wants that, they call on special forces like the SEALs. And they're happy about it because those extremists are good. Extremists who won't ask questions about who they're going to kill and how things are going to be affected in areas where they blow shit up, where they assassinate. When they do their dirty work for the government, they just do it. Unless it blatantly violates some moral sense they have, they will follow those orders. And the government is happy. And those extremists are good. And Navy SEALs are asked to do all manner of nasty, dirty work, folks. I'm very sure of that. I really am. So in those cases, right, someone who is a special warfare operator, his name was Bryce Henson. He is an active duty Navy SEAL, and he is known for exposing, challenging, and resisting critical race theory and the radical gender ideology and all of the other crap. He's in Southern California. He is now, right, under investigation because he supports the Proud Boys. Isn't that interesting? The Naval Special Warfare Command, Washington, D.C., folks, doesn't like that. And these are allegations because he possibly participated with or supported an extremist cause. Folks, the Proud Boys, are they extreme? I think they're pro-America, aren't they? How interesting is that? Well, Navy Commander Ben Tisdale confirmed this on the military.com. Because Special Forces SEAL Henson, he was involved in a parental rights protest. That's right, folks. He believes as a parent he has rights. So he protested. Well, we can't have that. That's extremist. And he has a public stance, a publicly expressed viewpoint against the LGBTQ plus gay, anal sex, BJ, everything else, education and school. He's against that. So, he's an extremist. You have adults trying to get pornography that is just absolutely filthy in front of children, and they're calling this guy an extremist. He founded SoCal Parents Advocates, and now Henson is under investigation. Isn't that amazing? Right? Doesn't he have freedom of speech? Oh, yeah, says the Navy. A spokesperson said, sailors are always allowed to exercise their rights to freedom of speech and assembly if they follow the law on policy restriction. Oh, wait a minute. There is no freedom of speech if there's a policy restriction or participation with hate in extremist groups. Talking up and speaking against people who want to groom and turn your children into sex toys, that is not hatred. That's protecting your children. Once again, it's standing in front of everyone else. And the country and the children and their families are behind us. And we're facing an enemy, whether it's domestic or foreign, that wants to destroy, hurt, kill, maim, just everything to America. It's awful. And they're saying that, anything that's contradictory to the core values of the Navy is not tolerated. Oh, really? The Special Warfare Command, huh? There it is. That's who these people are, folks. You're allowed to speak up as long as you don't, violate what they want, right? When the DC government wants extremists to do their dirty work, folks, they're happy. When the DC government needs a patriotic, hard-charging veteran to shut up and to stop bravely fighting for America, DC is scared. And they call them bad. They call them extremists, and they investigate them. Washington, D.C. and the Pentagon are now home of cowardly, lying, unpatriotic, and even treasonous sacks of shit in cheap suits. It's a big F-you to D.C. for shitting on America and Americans. We pay the bills, we do the work, and they think they are superior to us. They are the servants, folks, but they're going to do this. God bless this man for fighting for children and for decency and for America. And to call him an extremist is just disgusting. You want extremism? Go into the lives of these pro-Palestinian scumbags, these pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist, anti-Semite, anti-American scumbags. That's who they need to investigate. Unbelievable. You want to hear a little more about these fruitcakes out here, folks? We're down to the final 20 in the Miss Universe pageant. And guess who are in the final 20 of the Miss Universe pageant? You got a trans. That's right. You got a trans man who's in there. It is a clown world, folks. It is an alternate universe war. And it's on the social side. It's on the military side. It's on the legal side. It's in the public. It's private. This war is everywhere. And this is fucking ridiculous. Miss Universe. To be a miss, you need a vagina, not a dick. Every day, folks, I go to the bathroom and I take a leak. Probably half a dozen to a dozen times I take a leak. And every time I take a leak, I have a dick. And I know I'm not a miss. I'm a mister. And I'm reminded every time I take a leak. It's not like I only take a leak once a month, and after a week, I forget that I have a dick. You have a dick, you're not a miss. Yet for some reason, this fucking fool thinks he's a miss. And then he engages in a woman's beauty contest called the Miss Universe pageant. And people seem to forget that he's got a dick and he's not a miss. But they want to feel cool and hip, and they don't want to be discriminatory. But what is he doing? He is lying to himself. He's lying to everyone else. He is lying, and he is hurting women. There are other women out there that work very hard to stay in top condition, top shape at that age, whatever that age is, age 19 to 24, whatever age beauty pageant contestants are in. They work very hard to stay in top physical condition. They try and learn whatever they need to learn, a musical skill. They have to have some social thing they're doing, whatever, right? They have to give their why I love the world speeches. And this fucking guy is taking from women, just like these trans athletes are out there taking from women, taking their scholarships, taking their support, taking their positions, taking everything it is that makes women women. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. This is a war we're fighting right now. And guess what? We're also losing it. We're losing bits of the war here and there. In New Jersey, atheists, and I try not to make this a religious show, right? And it's not. It's not. But right now, atheists in New Jersey are just cheering, cheering, and cheering. Now, Ken Matthews on Twitter, X, came out and said the Communist Republic of New Jersey has kicked out God again. Right? You bet. They've kicked out God. They've dropped the religious oath for political candidates. That's right. Isn't that interesting? What is a religious oath? It's not a religious oath. It's an oath. Right? It's an oath. They've gotten rid of, New Jersey has, the part of the oath that says, so help me God. They've cut that oath requirement because an atheist group has filed a lawsuit. They don't like that political candidates have to say that, so help me God. Well, if they don't believe in God, why would it even matter to them? The idea was that God sees and hears and knows all. Is omnipotent, all-seeing, all-knowing at all times. And so you swear an oath to a spiritual being so that you're held accountable, so that you won't lie, so that you won't do immoral things, so that you won't steal and take bribes. You know, all the stuff Joe Biden does. Right? So they cut out, so help me God. If these atheists don't believe in God, why do they give a shit? Well, you're forcing someone to say words that they don't want to say. Well, to force someone to say a single word of an oath is the same as forcing someone to say all the words in an oath. It is force, cold, pure, and simple, to force someone to take an oath, to serve in the public interest as an elected official, an appointed bureaucrat. You're not working for you, you're working for others, and they want to hold you accountable. And so you are forced to take an oath. It is force. And if you want that job, you choose to accept that oath or not. But these fucking people didn't like that. So, I mean, if we can object to the words, so help me God, why can't I object to all of the words that are being forced on me? So can I object to any oath or any statement of truth that is forced out of me, that whether it's said in court or for a government job? Can I object to all the words? Or can they force me to say some words but not others? See, this is a logical fallacy. One after another, every year they push and pull more. Push, push, push. Pull away our rights, demand, stomp us down. And we've been enduring this shit for years. Years and years and decades now. Are you ready to fight for your country? If you want to be a fucking atheist, fine. But you don't get to serve government and people who have a belief at least in a spiritual manner, and understanding that there's someone higher than them and that they're to be held accountable. And if you don't believe in God, why would you give a shit if you use the word God? In fact, they spend more time talking about God and trying to deny a creator, a supreme being. They spend more time talking about it. You'd think that they would have no choice but to see it, to understand it, to feel it, to recognize it. This presence of something bigger than them. Well, folks, for number one, government wants to be God. Government wants to be God, but government is authorized by the people. So you're swearing an oath to people in all truth. I've just had it with these. I've had it with all these fucking nuts. All these fucking, whether they're atheists or fucking Satanists or Democrats or communists, these illegals that are here, these anti-American fucks, they all want to destroy the country. They want to tear down all the institutions. Now, if there was an institution that said we need to go hunt witches and fucking dunk them in the river until they confess, I'd probably go, you know what, I think we've grown past that one. But if there's one thing this country needs, in fact, the whole world, but at least this country, the United States of America needs, it is an understanding that there is something higher, something good, something moral. Freedom, liberty, truth, justice, accountability. They're all principles of morality and decency, and they're being destroyed. And of course, they're going to be replaced. Right? I tell you. What do you guys want to talk about? What's on your mind out there? It is your show, after all. It's Sunday Night Live. Wow. It is going to be Thanksgiving week. Mr. Uman sent you a message. Jolene is back in the house. And let's get going. Mr. Uman, what do you got? We got bullish Paul McCartney with a 556 super chat donation. And folks, 556 right there is the caliber. That's right, the metric caliber for the AR-15. Woo! And he has the GTFB and SB fund cheering. That's right, they get the fuck back and stay back fund. Thank you, bullish Paul McCartney. Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Christmas. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. And that's got to drive these fucking atheists nuts too, because they don't like Christmas. Too bad. The rest of us do. You guys can go. If you know an atheist, don't buy him anything. Ever. Because all holidays are based on the idea that, we need some extra rest, that having Sunday alone is not enough. Now, I haven't talked at all about Russia and Ukraine. Have you noticed that that's kind of gone away? Get that Russia news out of here. Well, it's because the USA, or rather the US government in DC and London and Brussels, seat of the European Union, and NATO, they've gotten their asses kicked by a second-rate, washed-up military that's still a nuclear superpower, though, Russia. That's right. That's right. Over and in the country of Ukraine, no less. Right up on the Russian border trying to fight them. Well, there is what some are calling media madness and schizophrenia over what Russia is doing with their, military technology. Apparently, there's a concern over Russian missiles, these hypersonic missiles. Well, they're saying, hey, Russia's out of missiles. They're not using them anymore. Now they're using these super inexpensive, although highly effective, kamikaze drones. And we mentioned the kamikaze drones a little more than a week ago, I believe. Now, it seems to me that why would you use missiles when you don't need missiles? Right? I think that Russia would launch missiles when it serves Russia's tactical and Russia's strategic goals. But right now, Russia is using these drone, first person, someone flying a drone. Russia is killing Ukrainians with a much cheaper technology. And as time goes on, it's developing more sophisticated and more lethal drones. Right? Russia may be stockpiling missiles and using these cheap ass and very, very effective drones for these combat missions. Right? The rockets and missiles, maybe they're storing them up for a more strategic, deep penetration of sophisticated and protected targets in Ukraine. So these missiles are being reserved, used only when other munitions won't. In the meantime, folks, Russia is just kicking the ever-loving shit out of the Ukrainian people every day. Hundreds, if not thousands, of Ukrainians are being slaughtered. It's genocide, folks. Not by Russia, but by Volodymyr Zelensky, who is sending Ukrainian men and women to their deaths. Old men, young children to their deaths by telling them to go fight for Ukraine, by invading formerly Ukrainian territories, which are now Russian Federation states that are populated by ethnic Russians. In other words, at this point now in the game, folks, as Ukraine is losing, the shoe is on the other hand, as Lieutenant Drebin might say. And it appears that Ukraine is trying to invade Russian Federation states. Because these states have voted, folks, in a most democratic fashion, to be free, to self-determine where and who they're going to associate with. Isn't that fascinating? I find it absolutely fascinating, folks, that Russia is telling ethnic Ukrainians, if you live here, you're fine. In fact, we'll take good care of you. But if you're an ethnic Russian in Ukraine or Russian anywhere else, the Ukrainian military, the Ukrainian government loves to say, we'll kill every single Russian we run into and find. And they've never had a better time killing as many Russians as they can. I think that's pathetic and awful. I think all of this war is absolutely awful. I'm not a pacifist, though. I'm a realist. I want peace, but if you're going to bring war, right, then I'm not going to stand by and allow myself to be victimized by these fucking sods. They know who they are. Anyways, let's do this. Let's get into some more of your questions, your thoughts. Holy cow, we're 90 minutes in, and we're having a good old time. Jolene, who wants to step up? It is David G with a $10 super chat donation. That's right, that super chat button right up there. That's how you get your questions on the screen down below. David G says, breaking, populist milieu was just elected president of Argentina. He was nicknamed the Trump of Argentina, folks. He likes to use, was it a fucking chainsaw? He is the chainsaw candidate. He is going to cut and slash through the socialists, the Peronists. That's right, Juan Perón, socialist, aka communist of Argentina. Right? They've been battling communism forever down there, and socialism, if you will. Argentina, their currency, their economy has collapsed multiple times. The Argentine peso is a pile of shit for a currency. They've been battling and fighting, and now, folks, the Trump of Argentina, populist candidate milieu, is a conservative, and the people love him. And he has been threatened with death. He fights his ass off for freedom. And David G says the World Economic Forum is crying a river and losing their grip on the people. I know most of us folks don't think about Argentina. It is south of Texas. It's south of Mexico. It's south of Nicaragua, San Salvador, and even Panama. It's south of Ecuador. It's south of Brazil. It's way the fuck down there. Argentina. It is also the source of beef for all of Europe. Right? Argentina has always been a huge agricultural state. And they have been battling communism, labor unions. They've been battling the people to get free of this corruption and waste. It is also a huge country with mining resources. We have huge mines down in Argentina, Chile, Peru, all of these countries down there. It's amazing. Africa is being divided up by the World Economic Forum, but they just lost control. Africa is being also divided up by China. But these little countries, right, they're tired of being beat on and picked on and screwed over. And all they want is a good deal, to be treated well, hey, maybe even be free, right, to live a good life, etc. That's all people want. Fuck, that's all I want. I'm 53, going on 553, putting up with all this shit. Having worked my entire adult life, 53, I'm not ready for retirement yet, though shit, I sure would like it. How long do we have to work? Why do we have to fight until we die? We have to fight and fight and fight for our freedom and liberties. God bless the people of Argentina for fighting to get this guy elected. So maybe they can have a chance at a decent fucking life. Maybe in his 4-year administration or 6, whatever the president down there gets, this guy will be able to do something to help the people of Argentina. Have you ever met an Argentinian? They're great fucking people, except for the communists. How about Brazilians? I fucking love Brazilians. In fact, I'm going to go work with one, I think, tomorrow or the next day. Love them. I love good Americans, except for the fucking communists. People from the Middle East, they're awesome. Muslims, they're awesome as long as they're not communists and fucking jihadis and Satanists. And here we are. Anyways, David G., thank you for hitting that super chat button right up there and getting your thoughts. This is great news. This makes me incredibly happy. I wish I could say something this positive about the United States of America. That they bring in a populist president, maybe like Donald Trump. Trump. Now, I know there's people that like the other candidates, like Vivek Ramaswamy. Does anyone like Vivek Ramaswamy on the channel here? How about Nikki Haley? Does anyone like Nikki Haley? And, well, I was down in his state. Governor DeSantis, the best damn governor in the whole fucking country. Well, he made a couple of missteps and miscalculations, I think. I think the people of Florida should make him a lifetime governor, that he can keep running as many times as they're willing to elect his dumbass. But I tell you, national politics is not the same as local, regional governance. There's a big difference. It takes a whole lot more power and charisma to fucking win at that level. Look at all of the loser Democrats, folks. Even Joe Biden is unloved. He is unwashed. He is unintelligent. He is undesirable. And even with all of the lies and cheating, with the fucking media trying to prop him up, he is a worthless sack of used sellout shit. And he's a criminal. Any other era, he wouldn't even be allowed to sign up as a presidential candidate, much less run as one and then be foisted to the front. Trump. Anti-Trumpers can suck it. Right? That's going to be the guy, folks. That's the fucking horse who's going to be in the number one chute when they open the gates and they start running. He's not perfect. He's going to be that guy. Is he selling us all out? I don't fucking know. Is it possible? Yes. We're already in shit. It's the fan. It's already getting worse. Like I said, this bottle of scotch went up about 30% in cost. Ouch. Inflation is going to go off the hook. Inflation for things that are needed. Deflation for those things that aren't. It's going to be a hell of a weird-ass world, folks. It truly is. Now, what do you want to talk about? Jolene, who is up next? We've got 350 people here live, closing in on 2 hours. And it is Uman. Uh-oh. And he says, look into Operation Pandora. And he's not talking about the radio app. He says 1960s, the KGB, which is the Russian Soviet Communist FBI. They use the same tactics and techniques, by the way. The 1960s KGB planned to start a race war between the blacks and the Jews in America. What are we seeing today? Does that sound a lot like Operation Trust and the QAnon nonsense? Look at what we have. We have a race war started between Palestinians who have been let in. They've been led into this country, and now the most radical amongst them are coming in, and the Jews in America. And there's plenty of Israelis and Jews here as well. The 60s plan for KGB wanted to pit blacks against Jews. Well, didn't really work out so well. But what happened in the 1960s was the blacks did not go fight the Jews. What did they end up doing? They ended up pushing for equal rights. But they are starting a race war today, aren't they? They're starting a race war in this country between all of the races. There's a war between every nationality that's here, any nationality that's here. They're pitting everyone against everyone. They are more divisive than ever. The FBI, not the KGB, but the FBI have informants. They have agents provocateur. They infiltrate all groups, folks. Whether it's a black group, you bet there's FBI in there. Or a white group that's an extremist group or a supposed extremist group. They get in there and they try and make them extremist. In so much and as so far as for the informant from the FBI, the infiltrator will take command and leadership positions within these groups and radicalize them. And interestingly, they're now going after the Jews in America. We're seeing it, are we not? The Jews are now being attacked, and it's fine. It's good. You can be anti-Semitic now. Apparently, that's just fine to be anti-Semitic. Thank you, Mr. Uman. But really, it's okay now? Hey, Sacha Baron Cohen, the guy who was Borat, the idiot comedian, he's gone after TikTok, which is a Chinese app. If you didn't know, you know what TikTok is, right? It's a little cute video thing. But he's basically shitting all over their executives, but it's owned by China. But they're allowing Nazi-like anti-Semitism, according to Borat. Folks, the term from the river to the sea, that's code for destroy all Jews. It's not just a cute little saying, it's code. So they're calling for violence, along with all the other threats to Israel folks and how they hate Zionism, etc. Not all Jews, by the way, are Zionists. Not all Israelis are Zionists. In fact, there's groups in America, and I haven't talked about it yet, but there's groups of rabbis and Israelis who are against this fight against the Gaza Strip. Well, I'll tell you what, do you think the Palestinians give a fuck if you're a rabbi for Gaza or a rabbi for Palestine? They would just as soon kill them. Oops, sorry about that, because they want to kill all Jews and all Israelis. That's about as stupid a thing to do and say, in my opinion, as queers for Palestine. Ultimately, when they get done killing their hardest opponents, they will go after any and all opponents, including you, America, because 98% of all of the civilian Gaza people, all of the innocent non-terrorists, they still hate the United States of America. That means we're all targets. Whether you're a Zionist Jew or not, whether you're a Zionist American or not, whether you're a neocon American or not, they want to kill all of us. They think this is their country now. Once they put a foot on it, they're like any other, well, I don't know, culture or group. They're going to fight to control it. Folks, that has been what humanity or human beings do for not just centuries, but for millions of years, it would seem. Certainly thousands. Let's just say thousands and keep it inside that discovery or a discussion about what human beings do and how long we've been here doing it. Is they will go from one country into another, and if they can defeat the other country's people, it becomes their country. It's called conquest. And it is the mechanism for making it happen is called war. And right now in your country, this country, America, we're at war with people from other countries who have invaded it. And our government has allowed it. I wonder why. Because they need this country destroyed too. They think it's their country. All of these business people, they think that they are all going to have a good time and run this thing together. I tell you, we at the very least, we live in interesting times. You will not be bored. You can find out exactly what all of this is about. We won't get to the bottom of it. We won't get truth, but we're going to have one hell of a show. All right, Mr. Uman, what do we got? Jolene, what do we got? Who is up next on the Prepared Mind channel? Sunday Night Live. This is your show. That super chat button right over there gets you a question down here, and it is Shelly Chavers. And she's got, it looks like a can of Lysol in her hand, and she's spraying probably, well, good God, who knows who. Anyways, we're running out of this Glenlivet 18, and Shelly Chavers has bought me a glass, and good thing too, because I was starting to feel a little parched, Shelly. Thank you for looking out. Got just a couple more, and then it'll be on to the Glenfiddich. But for now, Shelly Chavers, God bless America. Thank you to you. Semper Fi to everyone. Here we are. Prost. It's like mother's milk. Mother's milk. And got some kick. Shelly Chaver says, have a drink from me and my husband, Jody. Thank you, John, and your team for all you do. God bless and happy Thanksgiving. My nephew, Daniel Adams's, will be serving time for doing absolutely nothing wrong January 6th. Please pray for him and his family. Folks, pray for Daniel Adams. This is the nephew of Shelly Chavers, right here on the Prepared Mind channel. The January 6th protesters did nothing more than protest. Some actually committed acts of violence in defense of themselves and others, to protect themselves and others, like picking up a tear gas canister and throwing it away from the protesters was called a crime for impeding police performance or whatever the hell that was about. It's awful. I described to you the woman who was punched in the face, was it 35 times, nearly killed. Roseanne Boylan killed by the police. We had veterans, officers, veterans, current active serving members of the military being beaten, arrested by the FBI. It's just awful, right? We have the blessings of being free, folks. We have a Thanksgiving coming up, but hundreds of Americans are in jail, having committed no crime. And Shelly Chavers is telling us her nephew, Daniel Adams, is one of those people. And Daniel Adams shares a name with some of the great patriots of this country at its founding. President John Adams. There were a lot of Adamses, folks, fighting. And apparently they still are. Shelly Chavers, tell Dan, if you get a chance, that many of us out here appreciate the fact that he was a January 6th protester. And that he was there because he loves and believes in America, freedom, liberty, the Constitution, our flag, apple pie, baseball, and all things that are good. And it breaks my heart, and it may break the hearts of many, to know that he's sitting in jail and he's being denied his rights and he's being falsely charged. And they've got a jury, if he hasn't already been convicted by one, but they're false juries. They're fake juries. They're not a jury of American peers who understand American jurisprudence and realize and believe that the Constitution is the law of the land, not the word of some sick, twisted judge. So God bless Daniel Adams, and I pray for him too. Thank you, Shelley, very much. Thank you very much. Jolene, who do we want to bring up next? What do we got? Who is next? Thank you, Shelley. We've got Schneckham 483 BK Ken is now a YouTube member. Thank you, sir, for joining YouTube. I really appreciate that. And Michael Brown has sent in a $10 super chat donation. Pow! He has sent that in through CashApp. Thank you very much, Michael. I hope you are well, brother, and safe. I know you're up there in the greater New England area. I don't want to give away the exact location, but you, my friend, are in the danger zone. So I tell you, brother, please be careful. And I'm glad you are prepared and you've got this on your side. Your mind is prepared and you know that 10-mile radius around your house and you've got what you need. And I hope everyone has what they need. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense. Now, before we get to the next super chat donation, Olight has a promotion out, and the Prepared Mind channel is part of it. They've got new products, stuff I've never seen before, and I'm going to talk about them because I like to say, hey, right, I've seen the light. How many people need to see the light of freedom? Well, folks, if we get one of these grid down, lockdown, blackout things, you might want something like this. This here that they sent me just to show you guys, and it's available, is a keychain flashlight. Now, right, not a bad thing. All of Olight's products I found to be pretty darn good. Certainly, folks, this one takes just a single AAA battery. Keychain flashlight. You can use it. Do you have flashlights? Do you have rechargeable lights? Do you have a solar powered light? What do you have for light? Do you have solar panels? Well, I've got another one. This one's interesting. Right? They call it the Baton 4 Olight Premium Edition. And it's quite interesting in that it's rechargeable. You open the case. You pull out the flashlight. Right? Where is it? There it is. There's the button. Right? And if it's got super bright mode, and now, holy shit, I blinded myself. The cool thing about this is it has a belt clip. Snaps on your belt. Another cool part, this is a battery charger. You're done using it, you put it in there, it self-charges multiple times. Right? 68%. It'll recharge itself. So you get done doing whatever you do, you're on patrol, you need a light, you've got your light, you use your light. Times are hard, times are difficult, shit is at the fan. You're making sure your neighborhood is free of commies. You just plug it in with a USB cord, charge it up. And I recommend having solar panels and battery backup because if they do knock the grid down, you're screwed. Thank you, Jolene, for putting up the Olight Black Friday sale right there. Back up the video, pause it, write that shit down. They got some good deals, folks. It is the holidays. Great little stocking stuffers. I give away Olights every year at Christmas to family and friends, and I tell them, get prepared. No one else is going to do it for you, you dumbasses. Get yourselves prepared. If things go rotten, if things go wonky, if things go sideways, Uncle Sam is not going to show up at your house and give you everything you need to get by. Period. You're fucked unless you take care of you and your family. Now, of course, I say get out there and participate locally in politics. Call, write, text your congressman at your state or at the federal level, but be prepared, because when shit hits the fan, even worse, it's going to come to our homes. That 10-mile radius around us, it's coming. Now, we got 5 minutes left in the show, but we got some super chat donations, and I will not stop the show until we've satisfied all of them. It is back country preps in the house. Brother Vaughn with a $5 super chat, and he says, sorry for only $5, bro. Hey, he said, I just dropped 10K in Arizona. Broke AF. Love you, brother. I love you too, Vaughn, and I know what you're up to, man. What is he doing? Well, he's building himself a place that's safe for him, his wife, his family. Loving what you're doing there, BCP. But check out his channel. Let's get his channel name up here. We've got Back Country Preps, but he's got another little channel also that he's been running and working on, and you just got to love it. Vaughn does a lot of his broadcasts from his work truck, his work van. He's always done that. He's done broadcasts from Arizona, from California. He's even gone over into Mexico, taking a look around. Anyways, I love Vaughn. He's crazy. You just don't want to see any pictures of him in his swimsuit. And by the way, Vaughn, he is also Arizona Unplugged. He's got 2 channels there on YouTube. I've got a heating and air conditioning guy here, Vaughn, that's just as proud of his swimsuits as you are. And it's nothing that anyone should ever have to be exposed to. Anyways, good times, man. Good times. Lots of laughs. Thank you, Vaughn. Thank you, man. And let's do it. And Backcountry Prep says, Nikki. And Heidi checks in. H12 Heidi with a $10 super chat donation. Thank you for checking in, Heidi. I knew you were there. And she said, you could have knocked me over with a feather when my hard left son told me he voted for Biden in 20, but he will be voting for Trump in 2024. I tell you what, it is incredibly awful to hear from your kid that they're choosing a political thought that is different than ours. And I really did used to believe that if everyone had the information I did, they would make the same decisions as I. And that was, for a large period of my life, a naive belief system, that people with the same information would come to the same conclusion. And they don't. I have family members that are Democrats. They're fucking communists. They're stupid. I can't fucking believe it. How can you be that dumb? People that want to ruin children, leave the border open, destroy our economy, fuck up the monetary system, trash our military, leave us open to invasion, bring about disease. These are Democrats and rhino Republicans, every last one of them. They are rhinos, Republicans in name only, and they hate this country. But they'll pilfer it and they'll steal as much as they can. Unbelievable. Folks, unbelievable. This country is incredibly corrupt. The Pentagon has failed its 6th audit, folks. 6 in a row. Trillions of dollars are missing. Who is in charge of the Pentagon? Joe Biden's people. For 8 years, folks, 8 years, Obama trashed conservative generals, flag grade officers, all officers at the Pentagon, trashed them, kicked them out, replaced them with a bunch of communist fucks in the Pentagon. Geez, I wonder why millions and trillions of dollars, folks, trillions of dollars have gone missing. And the last time we heard about the Pentagon failing in audit was September 10th of 2001. That's right. That's right. The last time this subject became national news, an airplane hit the Pentagon, the very section of the Pentagon where the audit paperwork was at. I don't think they even need to do that anymore. They don't need to blow up a portion of the Pentagon to hide their corruption and their theft. They're just going to just come out and say, yep, we failed the audit. What are you going to fucking do? What are you going to do? Trillions of dollars are missing. Who cares? All right, man. What? Wow. Bioxo77 checks in with a $4.99 super chat donation. And he says, have a happy Thanksgiving to you, John, and the rest of the Prepared Mind family. Stay safe, stay aware, and be prepared. Thank you very much, Bioxo. I hope all is well in your world and that you too have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving. I will be back. 0 dark 30. I know last time you guys saw me driving, I was heading down into Freedom, Florida, and I was in the what do we call that thing? Call it the bodyguard bug out mobile. Anyways, doing a little bodyguarding this weekend. You've got to do what you got to do and take advantage of what you can. And you got to be prepared, folks. You got to do everything you can do for freedom, everything you can do for liberty. Don't break their laws, right? Be Americans, be good Americans, and understand they are breaking our laws. The government, these fruitcake leftists. The fight is on, folks. I'm not calling for violence. I'm calling for Americans to stand up for themselves and their country. I think it's critical, and it's time that we do so. Don't commit acts of violence, but fight for your country. Don't break the law. Get the law reinstated in this country. And most of all, I want everyone, not only to have a wonderful Thanksgiving, but get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Put it together with your plan. I want to thank everyone for supporting me, for supporting the Prepared Mind Network, for supporting Uman. I hope everyone appreciates all the hard work he does for supporting Jolene. I want to thank everyone for patronizing the preparedmind.club to buy what you need. Not through the club, but by hitting links that take you to other places, whether it's Olight or solar panels or radios or survival chow. And you're going to need months of survival chow if they start fucking up our entire infrastructure, our food supply chains. Like you said, I've said it 100 times if I said it just once. If they interrupt the food supply, people will lose their shit. If they interrupt the electrical system, people will lose their shit. If they interrupt the water supply, people will lose their shit. I hope you're prepared. And Uman says, have a great week, folks. Hope to see more of y'all on the daily live streams. Stay mentally tough. And that's how the enemy wants to break us down, folks. If they aren't fighting with us in the streets, they want to break down your mentality. They want you to quit, to give up, to say, all right, you guys win. I say don't do it. I say give them hell. We have yet begun to fight, and chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed, happy Thanksgiving, and Semper Fi.